What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Great Outdoors. I'm your host, Jason Ostrowski, aka the Polack, and today I have for you the Novix Raider Platform. Let's get stuck in. All right, well, here it is, the Novix Raider Platform. I don't know why that feels weird for me to say. I keep wanting to say hybrid. This is the hybrid stand. I will do this video probably in a week or two, but I wanted to kind of showcase this platform first. So this is the Raider platform, made in America. It's a welded construction, a very similar features to a lot of platforms we've seen on the market, especially the trophy line stuff. Very similar tree bracket to what they run on the Hilo and the Echo. Same Versa button, this plastic Versa button. But then we have this welded construction, which is really interesting. If you kind of look at Novix, a very interesting company. They started out, they came out with the Hilo and the Echo, awesome tree stands. They had the mini compact sticks, a little heavy, but they were great sticks. I reviewed all those on the channel. And for years, they said they weren't gonna do anything saddle related. And then all of a sudden, I believe they actually sold. So I believe the Weavers owned the company, and then they sold to this other dude. And then we started seeing, you know, shirts, I think around the same time, like, oh, you know, saddles are for horses and all this stuff, which I thought was hilarious, by the way. But then they drop, you know, this platform, the hybrid platform, and then they have the actual Raider tree stand, which I thought was super interesting, being that they were kind of staying out of the game, but under new ownership, they've dropped this new platform here. So this is coming in at 200 bucks. I wanted to get a review out on this product. I do get questions about it, and then I looked online. I didn't see anybody had reviewed it yet. So I want to give you a true, honest opinion. If you're new to the channel, I've reviewed the Novix Echo, the Novix Hilo, the sticks. I think all three products are great. Looking at this platform, there's a lot of changes. Like I said, there's this welded construction. You know, we have like aluminum tube here. It's just different. When you see this product, you look at it and you're like, yeah, it's a saddle platform. You have a nice gracious size. So it's 14.5 by 14.75, which is pretty big. You have a very large gap here with a lot of teeth. So you're gonna be able to get down to a 4-inch tree all the way to a 22-inch tree. And then I had this coming in on my scale at 4.2 pounds. So I think anything over 3.5 is kind of getting into that higher poundage range. But you know, 4.2, it's not the end of the world. It's not the lightest. It's, you know, it's not like, you know, those Hunt Arsenals or even Lone Wolf Custom Gear or Hyperlight or something like that. It's not in that realm. And then, you know, if you look at the price, it's kind of priced accordingly. 200 bucks, you know, it's heavier, but it's bigger. So somebody that's new to saddle hunting or, you know, getting into the game, might be somewhere for them to start. They have what they're calling their frost coating. So it's not like gritty. It's not like sandpapery. If you've, the XOP stuff, like the Cold World stand and the Retrograde, they had that like real gritty finish. This isn't like that at all. I mean, there's a little bit to it, but I don't know if it's paint or powder coat. They're calling it the frost coating. It seems to work pretty well. What I did notice is it does get kind of dirty. Like if you've got, I'm sure if you were hunting in mud or like swamp areas, this thing would probably just get black. I'm not opposed to that, but just something to think about. You have a welded in batwing bracket, Versa bracket, or whatever you want to call it, tree bracket. That is welded inside there. You have your normal Versa button that is bolted on, and then you have an adjustable knob down here. You know, everything functions like a normal platform would. Looking at the instructions that do come with it, it doesn't talk about toe camming. It doesn't mention it. So, and from my testing, I would not toe cam this thing at all. This is some pretty thin plate aluminum here, and there was a couple times that I toe hooked it. One was on a soft bark tree, no problem. The other one was in a cedar tree in my barn, which is kind of soft bark tree, no problem. When I got it on the red oak, it did not like that. Luckily, I was paying attention, and I could just see it wanting to flex, and I just backed off. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna do that. So on a hard bark tree, like a red oak or a maple or a white oak or something, yeah, it's these things want to bend here if you try to toe hook it. So I do not suggest toe hooking it, and it doesn't mention toe hooking in the manual. As far as performance on the tree, it actually did really well. When I put it on a smaller diameter tree in my barn, it seemed like it kind of wanted to rock a little bit, but when I had it on my shit tree, that soft bark tree, it did really well. You can see in the footage, I'm kind of leaning off of it. I'm actually like pushing on the corner, trying to get it to pop out, and I was really surprised how good it bit. Now, when I put it on the red oak because I wasn't able to tow cam it. It did pop out. Now I'm 239-ish pounds, so I'm putting a lot of force into that platform. I probably would kick out any platform that I got on, to be honest. If I really wanted to, I could make it kick out. So I feel like if you're a lighter guy, you might have, you know, good luck on those trees. But like I said, you're not able to tow cam it, or I don't recommend tow camming it. So I don't know exactly how, you know, tight you're going to be able to get this to the tree, especially if you're like 150 pounds, 160 pounds. I know guys that are lighter, they do have a little bit harder time getting these things to lock in. Obviously with my weight, they just they bite right into the tree, no problem. That's great if you have, you know, something that can withhold it. I don't think that this can withhold it, so I don't recommend that. I was pretty impressed with the gription when I was standing on it. It felt like it had great grip on my feet. These welded sections here, they didn't really make any noise. They didn't, you know, felt like my boots were gripping into there good. So I feel like this is a decent platform for like presets, or, you know, if you don't have a long walk. You know, if you look at everything out on the market right now, like the tethered Predator, I think is like $189. They have sales, you can get it for cheaper. The Cruiser Mini Seeker is like $189, $179. Trophy Line EDP, I think, is $200. But if you asked me, you know, if I was a mobile hunter, what would I choose? I would choose all those platforms before I would ever choose this. I think that this is overpriced for what it is. You know, it's a cool concept, a little bit different, but I don't see spending $200 for this thing. If you are a mobile hunter, I would go with a tethered Predator, Cruiser Seeker, or Trophy Line EDP is a great option. Now, if you want to go up into that next realm of pricing, you know, you got the Hunt Arsenal stuff, and of course my favorite, the Lone Wolf Custom Gear Fix. But, you know, if you have a gift card to Novix, or if you have, you know, if they have some great sale, this might be worth picking up. But I don't think this thing's worth $200. It's not great. It's pretty standard. I do think that there's probably a lot of, you know, work that goes into all this aluminum. I mean, this is all welded. So they had to, you know, make it. Somebody's got to sit there and weld it. And it is USA made. So if you like to support that, then it might be worth it to you. But if you look at, you know, actually using this for mobile hunting, sure, you could do it. You could make it work, but it's not going to be the most efficient. It's not going to be the best. And why not spend a little bit less and get something that is geared towards mobile hunting and works just as good, if not better, than this product here. So I think Novix really kind of did miss the mark on this. So my final thoughts on this platform, I think it's cool. You know, I think because I'm, you know, I do these YouTube reviews, I bought it to review it and to check it out. Would I recommend it? No. I mean, I don't hate it, but I wouldn't, if somebody asked me, like, I would point them to 3 other versions of something that's cheaper, lighter, and that's going to probably be a better fit for them. I do think that Novix did miss the mark on this. Like I said, I'm not hating. They have some really good products, you know, the Echo, the Hilo, you know, the sticks that they've had in the past. You know, they've gone through a lot of changes. I believe they're on the 3rd owner now since they became Novix. And I actually think that this new guy is like a real deer hunter. So I'm excited that hopefully this guy's got a vision and a path of what they're going to do, because I think they have something here. They just need to refine it a little bit. They need to get some weight out of it. They need to beef this up so you can tow hook it. I mean, there's a lot of different things that they could do to make this better, but I think it's a pretty decent, you know, prototype model. I would basically call this a prototype. Unless you're strictly preset hunting, then you can get this thing locked in, you know, you can set it a bunch of times and you'll be all right. But for mobile hunting, I don't believe that this is a great choice for mobile hunting. That's my opinion. It's my opinion, nobody else's. Take it for what you want. And if you like videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. It does help me. And then stay tuned. We're going to have this Novix Raider Hybrid review coming out soon. I will do that for you guys and give you my thoughts on that as well. So see you on the next one. Peace.